Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going back to talking about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, and we're doing it by focusing on an important aspect. Today we'll be talking about secret faces and hidden visages concealed within the official material released by Mob Entertainment. Lately, several screenshots, promotional images, and frames taken from official videos have been released. At first glance they look completely normal, but if you stop and analyze them a bit more carefully, some very unsettling details start to emerge. In some of these images, you can notice hidden faces, barely visible shapes, faces that seem to be watching the player from the shadows or from parts of the environment that, in theory, shouldn't have any recognizable form. During this video, I'll show you where these faces are located, which images they appear in, and why they might not be there by coincidence. We'll go through an analysis without forcing theories, but trying to understand whether these details can actually have a real narrative meaning. One of these faces, in particular, seems to be directly connected to the prototype, the main antagonist of the entire Poppy Playtime saga. A character who, chapter after chapter, continues to be present but never fully revealed. And this hidden face could represent one of the first real visual clues about his appearance, or at least about how Mob Entertainment wants us to perceive him. We'll then ask ourselves whether these faces are just visual tricks meant to create unease, or real narrative elements that anticipate future events in Chapter 5. Before getting into the analysis though, I want to remind you that if you enjoy this kind of content, you can leave a like on the video. It helps the channel grow a lot. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe and activate the notification bell, so you don't miss the next videos dedicated to theories, news, and analyses about Poppy Playtime. With that said, let's get started. Let's take a look together at these hidden faces, where exactly they are, and what they might be telling us about the future of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 and the role of the prototype. Let's start with this image. What you are seeing right now on screen is an image we have already analyzed in the past, but it deserves to be revisited because, over time, some really interesting details have emerged. Apparently, inside this image, there is a hidden face that was discovered by some very attentive Poppy Playtime fans. Some fans of Poppy Playtime made a lot of analysis, and they discovered a hidden face. This hidden face is not located in a random spot, but is hidden directly on the drawn VHS. At first glance, it just looks like an old, worn-out videotape with normal signs of aging and imperfections, but everything changes once we start working on the image. If we lower the brightness, increase the contrast and shadows, and then invert the image, we get a result that looks very different from the original. At this point, by doing a targeted zoom right on the VHS, some very peculiar marks begin to appear. Now, taken individually, these marks could look like simple scratches or surface damage on the VHS. However, there is one key detail we need to consider. These marks are symmetrical. And we know very well that symmetry is one of the main elements when it comes to recognizing a face, even on a subconscious level. Our brain is naturally wired to see faces wherever there is a symmetrical structure. And if we start connecting these wear marks together, something much more precise begins to take shape. We can clearly distinguish two shapes that resemble eyes, positioned in a coherent way, as if they were part of a face. And above these eyes, there seems to be a larger shape that could represent a head covering. This upper part is particularly interesting because it strongly resembles a hat, and more specifically, it could be interpreted as a jester's hat. A detail that we absolutely cannot ignore, especially if we think about the theories we have already discussed in previous videos. We have already seen that the prototype might have a jester-like appearance, or at least something similar. A figure that seems playful on the surface, but at the same time disturbing and out of place, perfectly fitting the tone of Poppy Playtime. For this reason, it's not absurd to theorize that this hidden face on the VHS could be an early visual hint of what the prototype actually looks like. Obviously, we can't say this for sure, but considering the obsessive level of care with which Mob Entertainment hides visual details and messages, it's hard to believe that such precise symmetry is just a coincidence. It could be a simple Easter egg, but it could also be a subtle way to plant clues about the past, the identity, or the appearance of the main antagonist of the series. Now let's move on to a second hidden face, and this time directly from an official cinematic trailer of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. What you are seeing is a screenshot taken from the trailer dedicated to the prototype. As we know, in this trailer, the Mob Entertainment chose not to show the full body of the prototype yet. We see parts, details, movements, but never a clear and complete view of the character. And this is exactly why many fans started analyzing every single frame of the trailer, looking for hidden clues. According to some theories, the face of the prototype might already be present in this screenshot, even if in a very cryptic way. If we look at the image, we can notice a distorted reflection. At first glance, it seems just a confused reflection. Almost random, but looking more carefully, some suspicious details start to emerge. In particular, within this reflection we can distinguish two dark shapes positioned quite symmetrically that could resemble two eyes. If we take this idea and connect it to the context of the trailer, it is not difficult to understand why some fans immediately theorized that this reflection could represent the face of the prototype. A face that is never shown directly, but only hinted at, hidden, distorted in a reflection, as if Mob Entertainment wanted us to catch a glimpse without ever giving a definitive confirmation. However, here it is important to take a step back and also consider an equally plausible alternative interpretation. In the same room seen in the trailer, there are in fact Poppy doll heads, empty and without eyes. Therefore, the reflection we are seeing might not belong to the prototype, but could simply be the distorted reflection of one of these doll heads. Even in this case, the presence of two eyes could just be a visual illusion caused by the shape of the head and the way light hits the reflective surface. So, there are two possibilities. On one hand, the possible face of the prototype. On the other hand, the Poppy doll head. Now let's do some thinking, trying to put together the pieces we've seen so far. In the first image, the one with the drawn VHS, we notice the possible presence of a hidden face. As we already said, this face shows symmetric features, clearly defined eyes, and a possible jester hat. All elements that could make us think of a direct connection to the prototype. However, we need to be careful. At the moment, we cannot say for sure that it is really the prototype. This hidden face could belong to a new mascot, a character that has not yet been officially revealed by Mob Entertainment. If that were the case, this detail would completely change the way we look at the VHS and its narrative function. We could in fact hypothesize that the VHS itself is an introduction to this new mascot, just like it has been done in all previous chapters. If we think about it carefully, every chapter of Poppy Playtime has always started with a VHS presenting the main mascot of the chapter. And if in this VHS we find a hidden face, it is natural to think that this could be the mascot to which the VHS itself is dedicated. So, even without official confirmation, we can theorize different possibilities. It could be the prototype. It could be a new mascot. We have reached the end of the video. As you've seen, the images and trailers of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 really hide a lot of interesting details, and analyzing them closely can lead us to new theories and discoveries. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next analysis, theories, and news. Thank you for watching the video until the end. See you in the next video. Bye bye.